As I've said before on this podcast many a time, 6 months is an epoch in world football. Hello, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are. This is Professor Matt, and this is a very, very, very long overdue Liverpool update here at the Too Many Guys Sports Network. Uh, my apologies for not being more on top of things. Certain things happened during the fall semester, which really prevented me from dedicating as much time as I wanted to the podcast. However, it is a new year. We are back. I promise this year I'm going to finish the decolonization series at some point. And with our new sort of rebranding, I'm going to be pumping out probably bi-monthly Liverpool shorts, and I'm going to get back on the Eastern European report, which leads me to introduce my wingman because we have a new member of the family, so to speak, here at the Too Many Guys Sports Show. Uh, it is a guy who I've actually never met in the flesh, yet we've talked about the beautiful game for years on Instagram because he is a friend of a friend. Brian Poborski. Brian, how you doing this evening? Welcome to the show, and tell the audience just a little bit about yourself and how a charming Slovak American gentleman like yourself became a Liverpool fan.
Hello, thanks for having me. Wow, where to begin? Been following the team since about probably around 2008.
For the Benitez days.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, right at the tail end there. Um, I I think I mean it's pretty straightforward. The reason I got into the team initially I was just obsessed with the Spanish national team. I'd see players, Javi being one, Fernando Torres, Pepe Reina, in goal, and I was just like, man, this chemistry and this team looks electric. So I really just kind of started saying, who do they play for? I want to see them play more often. And Liverpool was the answer down the line. So yeah, started following the team, loved the history of them. First few years in, some pretty rough seasons looking back at some of our lineups and where we finished in the table. So yeah, it's been good and
Is
exciting.
you got sort of the end of the Benitez, like the end of the good of Benitez, then Space
Yes.
Train Benitez right into Roy Hodgson
Roy Hodgson,
and
yep, before he took on the England
being
position.
owned by the Royal Bank of Scotland for 20 minutes days.
Yeah.
That's a
The
baptism by fire, my man.
Yeah, yeah. And it was so I was fortunate to see him play three times. Once just a friendly in Chicago. It was against Olympiacos. That was the only game they won. But I caught them twice at the tail end of the 2011-2012 season. Fulham at Anfield. Clint Dempsey was still playing at the time for Fulham,
Okay,
but
wow.
we lost 1-0. And then I got fortunate enough to see them in Wales at Liberty Stadium last day of the season against Swansea. Brendan Rodgers' last game managing Swansea before he came over. Um, and yeah, that was another loss. So yeah, I need to see him win soon, so that'll be nice. But yeah, I'm fortunate that happened.
Very cool. And I'm envious because I've been to Anfield, but doing what I do, which is academia,
Yeah,
hard to get out of this country during an actual semester.
right, right.
So I've been to the stadium, I've done the tour, but I've gone there in June. So
Gotcha.
I've seen them play friendlies in the New York area here in Philly when the Arsenal came to town
Oh, very cool.
last summer. Uh,
Yeah.
and over the border when they were in Toronto like 12 years ago. But
Whoa.
I've never actually gotten a chance. I've seen lower league German squads play, but I've
Whoa.
never actually seen Liverpool play
Liverpool
on
during the season
competitive
proper.
match. Yeah.
It'll
Uh,
happen. It'll happen.
One day, one day. So, uh, in terms of my intro, 6 months is a long time in world football. And
For
holy,
sure.
the last time I was here, I recorded a short and it was right after the Arsenal win. And I said I was pleased because at the time it was 5 out of 5. But I also said there's some really disturbing warning signs. The way that we were playing and getting these results was not sustainable.
Correct.
The back line and the defense, which for the first two-thirds of last season were fantastic,
Yes.
looked shaky as hell. And I was kind of scratching my head because I was like, I saw the manager use players. And look, this season was always going to be challenging.
Correct.
So many new signings. I said, you're not going to see the actual Liverpool until around Christmas.
Yes.
Those first couple months, you just have to deal with guys adapting, guys betting in, guys learning how to play with each other.
Yeah.
Uh, and look, when you win the league, there's a target on your back. Everyone's going to come and give you their best.
Yeah.
So I, my expectations this season was managed some. I was like, the first part of the season was going to be a bit rocky, but I also said, look, I think we win this league. And my logic back in August, I stand by. I said
Yeah.
Arsenal is still there's still things not right there. And if you watch the result this weekend against
Yeah.
not so great Man United team, I I think I'm right there. And look, City, while better than last year, their
Hmm.
back line is trash.
Yeah.
Like it's bad. Uh but now in late January, my expectations for the season, my thoughts about this manager
Yeah.
have completely and utterly changed. Uh,
Yes.
I am, and I've been for about 2 months solid now, fully in the slot out brigade. And I think, Brian, you are also there, and your trajectory is also about the same. Like the first couple months of the season, it was like, hey, we saw what this guy did last year.
Yeah.
There's so many, new pieces. Give him a chance, he'll get it right.
Yeah.
But then I don't know for you. For me, it was the Bournemouth match, the first Bournemouth match.
Yeah.
Not the Bournemouth match, the Nottingham City match in early November.
Oh,
They came when they came into Anfield, and
yeah. Yeah.
it was
Forest.
like,
Yeah.
wow. Uh so now that we're all on the same page, Arne must go. Uh Brian,
Yeah.
observations of how he has gotten this so incredibly wrong, and maybe we can just exchange some notes.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. I've been trying to look at this from a lot of different angles. And they all kind of point to this, I think, like end result or destination where it's just it's a mess. It's not good. We've had a number of injuries this season, especially some from some new players. We've had some big exits. You know, Luis Diaz, is kind of thriving over there.
I
Um,
think that's actually the big one because
yeah,
when we talk a little bit about Slot's inability to switch up the starting 11 and his favorites.
yeah,
Luis Diaz was so good last season because of his unpredictability.
hmm,
The guy who's manning that spot at the moment might be the most predictable man in Europe.
right,
And I am a Cody Gapko fan, but
yeah,
he's also a one-trick pony. Like
right,
that unpredictability, that kind of street ball uh aspect of the game that Diaz brought, I think I think we of all of the departures, I think he's been the biggest.
absolutely. I mean, I feel like he just delivered consistently in so many games. just a phenomenal player. And maybe I'm biased. One of my best friends, he's first generation Colombian American. So, I watched so many games with him, and he's a big Lucho fan, as was I. But no, I feel like his hole, that he left in the team is massive. Um, and it's a funny thing. I think back about like, not even just the 25-26 season, but you think about how the last few years have been where we've always kind of had like a fluke result sometimes. We can walk into a top four team and come out, with 3 points with, not just winning by one, but by winning by two or three. We'll go and play Palace and we'll get our asses whooped.
Yes.
But what
That's
was
probably the perfect example because they have become our kryptonite in this
oh
era.
my God, home and away, yes, especially away. But you see the excitement in the team. You see how I feel like, as far as getting academy players involved, putting some prime 16, 17-year-olds on for, more than just 10 minutes sometimes, or putting them in at big Champions League games, and that's not to discredit, like I think Rio's fantastic. I think he's got a lot of potential. I don't want to blur the lines of the topics we'll probably cover today, but I even, talking about like some of the signings we have, they're all, academy players, which is exciting. One of them is Scouser coming back home, from Burnley. But it's like, what about our starting 11? Where are our answers? And that I feels like a feedback loop to us having more injuries, but still exhausting the same 11 to 15 players. It's a tough situation. I don't know.
Yeah, so I have a couple things down here, and you sort of hit on some of them. And I'm glad you mentioned the injuries because I have down here, I want this manager gone, but part of our issues are not strictly on him. He's a
Right.
big part of it, but injuries, and look, I say this constantly. Uh,
Hmm.
this is your first time on the pod, so just brace yourself.
Of course.
Injuries are not an excuse, but they are context.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so that's, I think, the best way to look at it. The other thing is the board and the ownership that actually spent money over the summer, much to my
Yes.
amazement.
A
Uh,
lot of money.
yeah. Uh, this is partially on them too, because we were dropping all this money. And look, I think with a different manager, a year, 2 years down the line, this summer is going to look a lot better than it does now. And you're
Right.
already starting to see that with guys like Ikatike and Verts,
Oh yeah.
who are starting to really get it. Look, we needed two new fullbacks.
Yes.
Right. That was a need. We needed a striker because, again, talking about departures, yes, Diaz, that's a big loss. I am not playing this whole weird revisionist history
Right.
about Darwin Nunez. Darwin, remember who Darwin was. And this is
Yeah.
coming from a guy who liked Darwin kind of as a sort of cult hero, but
Yeah. Yeah.
like I'm not going to be like, we'd be better off if Darwin was here. That's nonsense.
Right. Right.
We needed a striker, and after the tragic passing of Diogo, which
Yeah.
that's another thing to talk about a challenging season.
Yeah.
Debt tax is real, and
Yeah.
that was going to be an issue, this whole season, whether we liked it or not. We needed a striker. We after Diogo's passing, kind of needed two, but during the summer, we would be messaging back and forth, and the the constant topic came up time and time again. It's like, yo, we're really thin at center back,
Yeah.
and the two starters from last season, Kanate is effectively in a walk year,
Right.
and we're not going to have Virgil around all that long. We need
Yeah.
not one, but two center backs, and we we have to be serious about that. And the board
Yeah.
dropped the ball on that.
Right.
I like the look of this young Italian kid. I've only seen him briefly, and that's only because my team in Italy, or one of my two teams in Italy, Napoli,
Yeah.
is actually good again. So I watched more Italian football the last 4 years than I did the previous decade.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so I got a chance to see this Leone kid. But when I say kid, he's a
Right.
freaking kid. That signing
Giovanni,
was
yeah.
always that signing was always more about 2027, 2028
For
than it
sure.
was about this season. And we all sort of assumed that Mark Gahey was coming.
Hmm.
And then it didn't happen. And
Yeah.
and that's not on slot, that's on the board.
Hmm.
Should have been way more proactive
For
on
sure.
that front.
Because
In
now that kind of brings us to a crisis area where it's like if we are gonna pull the trigger on a big signing for a position we need before the end of this window, February 2nd, who are we looking at? And is it just to spend money or is it to be an answer to, a problem we have?
That is, and when we talk about the window, that's kind of the essential question because
Yeah.
we do, it's more it this is the worst our center backs have been just in terms of depth and health since
Yeah.
2020, the 2020-2021 season, which I guess this happens when we win the league now. The next season, our center backs will be
Yeah.
huge. Ah, are we looking for an Ozan Kabak kind of guy, or are we looking for a the next Ibrahima Kanate kind of guy?
Right. Right. Right.
I don't know where you go there. Uh but the manager has to hold blame for a lot of this. And being a Liverpool fan, I think opposition fans can reduce all of this really plainly.
Hmm.
But if you're a Liverpool fan and you've watched, what he did particularly last year, and then you
Yes.
watch this season, it's it doesn't just suck, it's so incredibly frustrating because I've never seen a man come into a new team,
Yeah.
tweak things just to the point where your ideas are coming in to enhance what the foundation that was already there. And then literally during the course of the summer, kind of forget a lot of those core principles.
Right. Right.
Uh, and the first thing I have down is tactics, and this has been something, and I'm a tactics guy. The audience knows that. Once it became clear that particularly defensively, the four
Hmm.
two three one wasn't working,
Yeah.
was saying maybe we should just go to like three in the back. That's when we had center backs and
Right.
play three at the back. And thinking about like the players that we got because we lost DS.
Yes.
Cody is a winger,
Hmm.
but he's not that kind of wide guy that
Yeah.
take the ball and take on to defenders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh Mo it doesn't have the speed to do that anymore.
Right.
Maybe we should go two up front, right? Because we have two really good out and out strikers. Well, we did.
Yeah.
He's ex-hurt. And okay, if Mo can do the wide winger thing, he would be
Hmm.
a good idea for our best goal scorer. Put
Oh
him
yeah.
closer to goddamn goal. Put him as a second striker. He's played that position before for Egypt. He played
Hmm.
that position in I remember when he was at Napoli and he was the foil to my boy Eden Shevko.
Yeah.
Mo can do that. We've seen two up front a total of twice
This whole season.
this whole season. We won both of those matches. And one of them was in the Champions League against was it Frankfurt? I think it was Frankfurt.
Okay. Yeah.
When we've played two up front, we've looked a lot better. But it's the same formation. Uh Arne Slot is now seemingly obsessed with putting players out of their natural position. He found out because of emergency that Dominic Szoboszlai, who's been our best player this season, by the
Oh
way,
yeah. So consistent.
Magyar Jesus. Uh, he found out he could play right back, so now he finds new and unusual ways to take him out of the midfield, which is his, natural position where he's most
Right.
impactful, and play him out of position. Uh, you know, and again, last season what made him so good was his tactics put players in the best positions to make them better. Like
Correct.
this season, it seems like it's the opposite. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're our best goal scorer. I'm going to put you as far away from goal,
Yep.
wide right as humanly possible. And
Yeah.
it's going to be Connor Bradley that's going to be closer to goal than you. That
Yeah.
makes no goddamn sense.
It's like a restaurant switching back of house in front of house.
Yep. Uh,
Let them do what they're good at.
yeah. We didn't get Gahey, so we don't really have. I mean, Virgil's probably our best, but we don't
Yeah.
have natural ball playing center backs.
Yeah.
Why are we constantly having our center back sort of, carry? Well, I know the answer to that. I'll get to that in a second. Why are they ball carriers and not just winning aerial duels? And if you can get a release, just send that ball someplace.
Yeah.
Uh
I will say I mean I'm a Virgil fan, so I feel like I need to preface what I'm about to say with that. And maybe it's just every game it cuts to a camera angle of him just either arguing with the ref or just like uninspiringly not really seeming like a leader, for the captain of this team in its current moment. And it's some of those things I'm like, rightfully so, you have every reason to complain, but it's like when all you see is like a loss that shouldn't have been a loss, and you have a captain just arms in the air.
Arguing about a foul that did not occur.
Correct.
But that goes back to the mentality of the
Yeah.
squad at the moment that is shaky at best.
Yeah.
Uh and you know, again, tactics and using guys out of position. We bought two attacking fullbacks. Last season, Slot implemented this system, which I thought was great with the fullbacks.
Yeah.
Where one would bomb forward, and then the other guy would just chill at the halfway line.
Yep.
They would alternate.
Yep.
He did away with, because remember, late stage Jurgen Klopp, when Pep Linders was here, this is why I wanted to strangle Pep Linders,
Yeah.
fell in love with the inverted fullbacks,
Hmm.
which worked for like 3 months, and then people figured it out.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Why do you buy two attacking fullbacks and ask them to invert, which they've never done in their lives before?
Hmm.
Uh, Milos Kerkez has taken a lot of flack this season, some of which deservingly so.
Sure.
I guess he's who we replaced Darwin likes to fights guy
Hmm.
in with the team because he's just a little emotional. But when he's been asked to actually play left back, he's actually looked very good.
He has. He has.
When he's
It's
been asked to become this weird extra midfielder,
yes.
it's when the problems happen.
Yeah.
And that's where the communication between him and Virgil gets all out of whack.
Yeah. And
And then
it,
go
it's a
ahead.
shame. I feel, he does look good as that left back, and then at the same time, I'm like, man, this is why Robertson isn't on the field. So, I which is a whole separate issue. Um, but yeah, he looks good there. But
When used properly.
yes,
Like
correct.
that's the big thing. And then I don't know. And I realize that our manager is Dutch and this is Dutch football, but one of my big critiques of the Dutch game and of even those Barcelona teams, because if you take some of the greatest players of that generation off that
Hmm.
team looks, you mentioned the Spanish national team. The
Yeah,
Spanish national team worked because it had the Barcelona midfield
yeah.
and goddamn Fernando Torres up top. The Spanish national team got really stale when Fernando Torres got too old and couldn't do his thing, and that
Yeah,
Barcelona midfield kind of aged out.
aged out.
And
Yeah.
teams figured out if we press these guys or
Hmm.
if we just set up. I remember World Cup 2018 and
Yeah.
the round of 16 match against Russia. And Russia was like, okay, well, we can't go toe to toe with these guys, so we can't press them. But we're just going to play a six-man midfield and have them in a straight line.
Yeah. Like a
Fuckers can
wall.
pass to each other, sideways all match long, and we'll see. We'll take this to penalties. We like our chances.
Yeah.
Uh we have gone from a team that in the club era was heavy metal football to last year heavy metal football, but with more possession based or more a much more pragmatic approach
Yeah.
to a team that really just does possession for possession's sake.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of the problem because when you're just passing backwards and sideways without penetration, that's when these small defensive lapses become magnified.
Yes.
And they become magnified even more because we're not scoring goals at the clip we were because everyone's too afraid to everybody but Dominic Sabazalai is
Yeah.
too afraid to shoot when
Yeah.
they're around goal because they're like the manager said we have to craft the perfect chance.
Hmm.
I would prefer us to take more chances,
Yep.
try to find the perfect one because law of averages, some of those not perfect ones are going to go in.
Exactly. I mean, it's almost as if we like we'll press once, and if we're unsuccessful, it's like, okay, keep it safe, pass it back, hold possession. But it's and this is funny. This is where like to tie me in, I guess something I didn't say earlier about getting into just the sport in general is, apart from playing as a kid and um my my aunt's husband, he's from Greece and he played for a club over there. So growing up, he used to play with me. We'd watch games together. I'd come home from school, and it was funny. I remember, when I started watching more and more, I would ask him, I said, like, hey, like I'm gonna put on this game. You want to watch it? And I guess he got less and less interested with, football at the time. He's like, back then people used to charge. He's like, now it's a game of passing back. And, to a degree, yes, that's tactic. And it's a calculated effort. But I don't know. I think there's some truth to what he says too, where we've gone so much to this point of, all right, be tactful so much that you're not even pressing. You're
Mhm.
not creating opportunities. You're not trying. You're just don't lose possession. You're not quite defending, but you're not, you know, putting any goals on the table.
hmm Yeah, and everything we sort of did well last year. These new confangled tactics have kind of negated. And then I guess for me, and you sort of hinted at this with Virgil's body language and the body language of the team, it sucks. Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen them like this, Christ, since like late stage Brendan days, and like
Yeah.
those are bad. Those are
Those are
bad
bad.
times.
Yeah.
Look, Jurgen Klopp was he's maybe one of the greatest man managers we've ever seen.
Correct.
Guys would run through walls for him.
Right.
We knew Slot was never going to be that.
Yeah.
Last season, when we were winning, it seemed okay. Well, at least he's functional at man management.
Right. Right.
Yo, he kind of blows.
Yeah.
Uh we had the Mo mashup, which that was total miscommunication because if he had communicated to Mo, hey, I'm going to drop you and then try to figure out how to use you a different way or something, I don't think any of that happens.
For sure.
But he didn't do that. He just benched him for two matches.
Yeah.
And, we almost had a straight up civil war. There's been questions about communication.
Right.
Apparently, he is not particularly clear in what he wants from the players, which
Yeah.
is why I think, on the pitch, particularly defensively, we've been all over the place this season.
Yes. I do. I agree to everything you just said. I will say I feel like the last game Mo had where he was in a little bit before he left for AFCON and the game where he came back, to see him play that hard and try to like figure things out and like at least boost the morale of the club, I was like, this is good. And I think in hindsight, it was good that he was going away for the competition.
I've never looked forward to a freaking AFCON.
Yeah.
Years. Usually we're like, oh my God, Mo and or Sadio, they're both gonna go.
Right,
What are we
right.
gonna do? And this year was like, good, get the fuck out of here for like a
Hmm.
month so this all dies
It's like,
down.
please, for both of you, leave. Yeah,
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 like you got to keep you guys separated for a little bit.
yeah.
Uh, and indeed, that one thing I will say about his Mo's usage since then is he has been closer to goal. But then today, and the score line against Karabakh doesn't show that. There he was out wide again, and I'm like, man, we got Endo playing right back. Endo shouldn't be closer to goal than you. Like
Yeah.
this is flawed. Uh, and the other thing, and you mentioned this too, part of good man management is being able to communicate, but also being able to be like, okay, you're not getting it or you're not informed. Hey, you got to sit the pine for a match or two, and then we'll figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
Playing guys on form when it's clear that the guys that you have in there aren't doing it.
Correct.
And dare I say, sometimes leaning, not relying upon, but
Yeah.
sometimes leaning on youth because the young guys, the academy guys, they might be they're going to be your bread and butter, or at worst, they're going to be ways to get the ultimate solution, especially
Yes.
with a club like us. Like we fleeced, was Sheffield United that we sold Rihan Brewster to for like 25 mil?
Oh man, I don't quote me,
The
but
fact
I
that we
think
were
so.
able to
Yeah.
move Leon Brewster for 25 mil. Look, we will find ways to sell some of these
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
get the solution. I'm convinced this manager hates young guys. Like he's afraid to play them.
Yeah. And
Uh,
and I feel like that's we had so many players, even just looking back, some players that were, getting great playing time, even from like 2021 like onward. And now, Kwanzaa's gone. We have Harvey Elliott out on loan. We have, obviously, kind of Bradley's injured and he's probably 22 now, so he's not, a U21 player or anything. But yeah, I mean, how inspiring can it be for guys to be like, oh, this is the team, this is the energy that I want to be part of, as we like, lose to Bournemouth and lose to, Leeds and Nottingham Forest, and I don't know,
it's very strange that he just has boxed out not just the youth brigade, but also a lot of the fringe and role players. You mentioned
mhm.
Diaz, and look, their games are very different.
Yeah,
But Chiesa, who by the
yeah,
way saved this manager's job about a month
yes.
ago,
Unfortunately, yes.
unfortunately, he offers something different. Is he as dynamic, twitchy, fast?
Exactly.
No, but he's kind of like, it's going to sound weird. He's the closest thing we have to Jota. He has that fox in the box. I'm going to get into positions,
Yeah,
score goals through a little bit of trickery and just intelligence.
yeah, it's a perfect way
Uh,
to put it.
Rio, again, you don't want to rely upon a 17-year-old,
Right.
but he is way more unpredictable than
Hmm.
and he can, and seeing him come on today, you sort of saw that. And look, besides center back, and I was willing to wait on this because again, this is the frustration of
Hmm.
a Liverpool fan. Arne Slot transformed Ryan Gravenberch, who looked goddamn lost his one
Yeah.
season under Jurgen Klopp, into arguably the best defensive midfielder in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everyone from the outside and the inside was like, we probably need another defensive-minded midfielder because
Yes.
Sabazalai, McAllister, Jones, they're all good, but they're more eights than they are
Yeah.
sixes. And I know Slot likes his hybrid guys, but they're more eights than sixes. We need more of a six that can kind of be an eight.
Yes.
And okay, we didn't fill that in the summer, but I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we spent a lot of money. Get me a center, another center back. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
You can wait until the summer on that. And part of the reason I said that was, hey man, we got Endo.
Yeah.
Look, is Endo is never going to be a 10 out of 10, but
Yeah.
Endo throughout his Liverpool career has always been at worst a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10.
Yes. Yeah.
Not rubbish. He's just not elite.
Yes.
Does that job. And the fact that we've only seen him on a handful of occasions,
Yeah.
injury, is really a little disturbing because it's like, some of these matches which we've lost or drawn late,
Yeah.
if you had put him on with 10 minutes left just to, I don't know, do the Samurai James Milner cameo. Like, remember
Hmm.
when Milner would just come on the last
Oh
minute,
yeah.
throw
They're
elbows?
like,
Shit?
love this guy.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. I figured that's how we would use Endo this year, and then we would find the younger guy in the summer.
Yeah.
He
I
does
mean, do you remember the first time Liverpool played Brighton after he left? He got like a standing ovation just for like a regular league game. I was like, that's awesome. I mean, I love James Milner, but you
most
see that from a player going to another Premier League team, and then you see like the reception like Trent got, and it's like, which I don't think was, all
we talked about that at
unwarranted.
length on the podcast, and you know my feelings about that.
Yeah.
I understand why he left,
Yes.
but I really, really do not like the way that he left.
Correct.
That
Correct.
could have
Yeah.
been handled very differently. Uh,
I still feel that way about Raheem Sterling. I mean, I loved him as a player, and like I feel certain players'
in
exits
a way,
tarnish.
Raheem's was worse because he faked injury and stuff. But again, if we want to talk about context,
Yeah.
that was late stage Brendan.
Yeah.
I
Right.
I
Right.
would I love Liverpool. I would probably want to try to
Me
leave
too.
too.
I know. I know.
That was bad. Those are bad times.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah. I can't fault. I mean, to be able to go, to Real Madrid, that's insane for any footballer, But it's just I've talked about this with some friends, some other supporters since it happened. It's like, man, that kid could have had a statue outside of Anfield. Like he could have been the dude.
well, hold that thought because although I don't think this is going to happen, there might be a universe where there's another book in
Second coming.
French saga.
I've
Uh
been reading about this. Yeah.
yeah, well, there's some dots. If certain things happen, there are some dots that can be connected.
Hmm.
So it's pretty clear both of us want the manager out,
Yes.
probably sooner rather than later. And I think
Yes.
for his own good too, because I did you hear the press conference this week when he said some craziness about how losing to PSG in the Champions League, we might have won the league? It made no sense.
No. Oh
My
my
my,
God. I
my
gotta listen
dear,
to
dear
it.
wife, who Brian also knows because friends of friends, was like, "Did you understand any of that?" I'm like, I did because I've seen this before with other managers. When guys know they're dead man walking, press
Yeah.
conferences get fucking weird. Like
Yeah.
Van Gaal at United. Remember when we smacked them up at Anfield and like we broke him and at the
Yeah.
press conference he started like chanting his own name and it was like,
Yeah.
what is this guy doing? And it's like
Yeah. It was
he's
incredible.
about to be fired. Uh or Amarin. Yeah, I hate no, I don't hate. The United guys, a couple months ago, it's like we must prepare for suffering. And it's like, ooh, that no. Uh so we both want him out, and we both sort of talked about why. the next logical thing is, well, okay, what's next? Or maybe another way to think about it, who's next?
Who? Yeah.
Uh, if we were recorded about a month ago, I said I think he was actually going to be safe till the end of the year
Yeah.
because our targets would not be available until the summer anyway.
Sure. Sure.
In the last couple weeks, I think some things have changed.
Yes.
Uh so if he gets fired, and I think there's a very good chance because Brian, have you looked at the schedule in the league?
Upcoming fixtures, other than what is it? Is it Newcastle Saturday?
Castle Saturday, then it's Man City, and then it's away to Sunderland.
Mm.
That's a tough. The Newcastle match may actually be the easiest of them.
Yeah.
Uh we have reached a point. I thought he was going to be safe because about a month ago I was like, okay, even if we keep drawing matches, we'll somehow bum our way to top four.
Yeah.
And as long as he would get top four, the board would just be like, okay, cool, ride this out, and then thanks for
Yep.
that league trophy. See
Yep.
you later. We
Satisfactory season,
up
Yeah.
we have now gotten ourselves into an issue where top four, if we're not careful, may slip out of our hands.
Yeah. I
Man
feel like each week that
United without Ruben Amorim are playing better because they have good players.
yeah, that was
They're
exciting to watch this
they're
week.
they are actually like they're not a complete squad by any means, but there's talent there. They're better than what they looked like.
Correct.
Uh Chelsea on their day can pick up results.
Right.
And there are a couple teams there like Newcastle and such that are waiting in the weeds that
Yeah. Bill
look,
has been crushing.
if we go on a bad run, we have problems.
Yeah.
So I I get the sense he's probably going to be gone sooner rather than later. I guess my question to you is, do we go a full-on interim guy
Right.
and wait until the summer, or do we go and get the guy who was actually this board's number one choice when Jurgen was going to leave anyway? If we
It's a
go interim, we know who this guy's going to be. And here's the thing. I think this is why they haven't fired him yet, because they're terrified of what could happen if he did anything.
yeah.
The
Are you
interim,
talking
the interim would be Gerard.
Gerard? Yeah.
Uh, Partially because he's respected by everybody,
For
players,
sure.
the fans, the board. He's in some ways the end. I look, rooting for the team when when I came in and started rooting for the team. Jamie Carragher is, I as a player, I have nothing but good things to say about him. Jamie Carragher, the pundit, he says stupid shit. So like
Yes.
it's not like Carragher where there's like this weird beef with the guy. Everyone loves Stevie.
Right.
Uh the vibes would improve, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Morale alone.
Morale alone would improve. And look, if we're going for an interim, we don't need a Klopp, we don't need a Shankly, we need a Di Matteo. And he
Yeah.
can do that. He could,
Yeah.
he could do that. I think the issue with Stevie G is he is literally just a band-aid. He's a cool band-aid.
Yeah.
Look, he he's not that great a manager. He's not
Yeah. And that's
garbage, but he's not that great a manager.
and that's where I hesitate too, because I think back to like obviously, I was a kid when Dalglish managed the first time around, but the end of his, spell in what, 2012, whatever, the team was at a low point. I think it was like one of these things where they were almost like, you're a legend, we love you. Things don't look good. Please leave. It was
Well,
like
and
you'll
there's
always have a home here. We love you. You've done so much for us, but like we need someone new at the wheel.
if we're wedded to a candidate that we know can only come in the summer. I
Hmm.
would be okay with Stevie just till the end of the season.
For sure, for sure.
But I think we're on the same page here. We're thinking similarly.
Hmm. And I try to look, hey, how's he doing at Rangers? And I'm like, ooh, it's I
Because
would be I would hate, if I was him too, to be like, if this goes south, like people that love me might hate me.
so if things go south, there's the legacy getting tarnished.
Correct. Yeah.
If things crazily enough go the best and we somehow win the Champions League, then we
Yeah.
have a problem because there's going to be a segment of the fan base that will be like, he must stay as the long-term guy.
Absolutely.
When if you engage your brain, and not even his time at Rangers, like the Scotland times had me fooled. It's when he went and managed at Villa.
Yes.
And I was like, Scotland, that's kind of where that's your levels. And maybe you can eventually do this, but
Yeah.
you're not here.
Yeah.
Like I look, I never root against but like if we won the league, the Champions League with Stevie,
Yeah.
it'd be really hard to get rid of him, even though getting
Absolutely.
is the
Yeah.
absolute like logical thing to do.
I have heard some speculation where even if he does come in as interim, that there, and again, this is speculation, but possibly, is it Hughes in the sporting director role, where he would kind of serve as like that going forward,
Well, that would be interesting
which would be cool.
because the actual long-term guy
Hmm.
is a guy that he knows very well.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I assumed the board was going to roll with Slot till the end of the year was that none of the major candidates would be available until the summer.
You're right.
But then 3 weeks ago, Real Madrid did something.
Hmm.
Xabi Alonso, who, and you mentioned, at the beginning, like he's integral to your
Yep.
connection with the club, uh, who, look, and you can say whatever you want. It's Germany, it's a farmers league. What he did at Bayern Leverkusen
Yeah.
was nothing short than like magnificent. He
Yeah.
dethroned Bayern Munich and came yay close to winning a treble,
Right.
playing some of the best and most attractive football in Europe.
Correct. Yeah.
A lot of my hesitation about Gerrard and why I just don't see him as a long-term solution. With Alonso, I have no questions about that.
Yeah.
And you have the added bonus of he is also a club legend.
Yeah.
Instantaneously, the vibes would just get better.
Oh my God. Yeah. And
And
to, and to that degree too, I feel like say he's at the helm and Gerard's sporting director, I feel like he'd probably only get better in that role. I feel like
so
it'd be
because
so complimentary.
and part of the issue being a Liverpool fan is the board and the manager, even in the
Hmm.
good times, don't always seem to be on the same page.
Correct. We saw that even the best days with Klopp,
Yeah, we now know that Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp couldn't really stand one another, but
Yes, yeah,
they just they did their best.
yeah.
That would be something like simpatico between
Hmm.
the top and the manager. Wouldn't that be cool,
That'd be
right?
amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, the other thing too is, I just read down the laundry list of why, the slot experiment has failed. Because some people might be like, well, if you want Alonso, why did he get fired at Real Madrid? Okay, he got fired at Real Madrid effectively for doing the things we want Arne Slot to do at Liverpool.
Yes, yeah,
Playing younger players,
yeah,
using his squad, benching guys regardless of who their goddamn names are,
yes,
and not in form.
yeah.
And look, the whole Real Madrid thing, in retrospect, didn't make any goddamn sense for Real Madrid or him. Because
Right.
Madrid have been great for the last decade, but they've been great with managers like Zidane and with my boy Carlo,
Hmm.
all about big picture.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm just going to let you guys do whatever the hell you want to do on the pitch.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas Xabi is tactics, 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 tactics.
Yeah.
So Javi's out of a job because he tried to implement system-based football in one of the most helter-skelter clubs in Europe,
Yeah.
laissez-faire in a way. And yo, high-paid prima donnas get what they want, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And are
Vinicius,
not used to being told no.
yeah, Vinicius and Mbappe all of a sudden like are scoring goals because I don't know, maybe they can do their own thing.
Yeah.
So Alonso, it's funny because a couple weeks ago when we first talked about this, the second guy I'm going to talk about was on top of my list. I have now changed this, and the reason I've changed this is as follows: Alonso is available now,
Yes.
and this summer is going to be fucked up because this is a World Cup summer, which
Correct.
means the preseason is going to be awfully weird. If we bring in someone this summer,
Yeah.
they're not really going to have time to assess the squad.
That's very true.
We bring in Alonso now. March, April, and May are kind of sort of preseason.
Yeah.
In June, he could be like, whether it's Hughes and Gerrard, etc. Keep this guy, get rid of this guy. I would like this guy, etc. I
Yeah.
think that's a huge, huge deal.
For sure.
Uh, the other thing I would have to say about Alonso, again, tactics, formation guy, because a lot of people are like, oh, he plays three in the back. And that's true. That is his preferred formation.
Hmm. Hmm.
He can't do that right now because we actually don't have
Right.
center
Right.
backs. But he's also played 4-2-3-1, which we that's our preferred formation now.
Correct.
But when he first got to Leverkusen and when he was at Real Sociedad, he
Hmm.
played 4-4-2. That we can play.
Yeah.
And
And have good success
so
with.
yeah, so I'm intrigued by that, and he's actually moved up on my list. My number two candidate, and I think I know I've been talking him up to you, and I know my wife's been talking him up because
Yeah.
she hears me speak. I love Julian Nagelsmann, and I've loved Julian Nagelsmann since like his Hoffenheim days.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, who the hell is this guy who's 15 years younger than I am? And why is he playing this beautiful kind of football? And I think the reason why I was on Nagelsmann was my preferred candidate initially. And even if we'd have to wait for him,
Hmm.
I wouldn't, if we were to get him, I would not be unhappy.
Sure. Sure.
I see a lot because a lot of people are like, well, yeah, he has the Germany job, but he got fired at Bayern. He got fired at Bayern because a bunch of old conservative Bavarian guys could
Hmm.
not understand this young, effectively kid
Yeah.
who would ride his skateboard
Yeah.
to, training and actually speak and tell truth to the media.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why he got fired. And,
Right.
you know, uh, I look at Nagelsmann and I see the tactical nouns. Right, he's a pressing king, so stylistically it'd be a return of Jurgen Klopp football, which
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, whoa, what we're doing right now is boring. I
Right.
get that to a point. I am more pissed off that it's boring and we lose. Like,
Yes.
if we were winning and it was boring, I'd be like, oh, okay, we're, regen
Yeah. Results are result.
AC, we're regen AC Milan. But if that means
Hmm.
we win the league three out of the next 5 years and take three Champions Leagues, cool, we'll do it boring. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's a more high pressing style. He has worked with youth players before. Like
Right.
the with Jabby, it'd be cool because you saw him bring up young guys at Leverkusen, but he's also a big believer in I like to use my squad, which
Yeah.
manager doesn't.
Right.
Nagelsmann, because of where he's been, with the exception of Bayern,
Yeah.
has been forced to use youth guys.
Yeah.
Hoffenheim,
Work with what you got.
RB Leipzig. He's the guy who turned RB Leipzig into this weird club that the Red Bull people established in the ruins of former East Germany
Yeah, yeah.
into a club that regularly made the Champions League and
Right.
would get into the knockout stages.
Yeah.
He's the architect of that. And he did that by effectively playing the youth academy. Because,
Yeah.
right, if you were any good at RB Leipzig, yo, you were sold within 2 years. We've been the beneficiaries of that. Now,
Yes.
Takeda, Kanate.
Right, right.
So if we hired Nagelsmann, I wouldn't be afraid of, the youth academy going, getting neglected. Again,
Yeah.
I mentioned the whole like, riding a skateboard to work. I see a lot of like, dare I say, and again, maybe it's lazy because he's German and he's a hug merchant.
Hmm.
A lot of Jurgen Klopp kind of vibes about that. I think these players would actually take to that as
Yeah.
opposed to like old ass men in Munich.
Right.
Uh, and in terms again of tactics, look, he made the 4-2-2-2-2
Hmm.
success. And I look at this team that is currently constructed, and I'm like, that may be the best formation we could have.
Yeah.
Because you'd have four in the back, you would have two holding center backs,
Yeah.
then you have two strikers up front, but then you have two attacking mids.
Yeah.
Hertz, Sabazalai behind Ikatike and Mo, or Ikatike and
That'd be
Eze.
huge. Yeah.
Yo, give me that all day, every day.
Yeah, seriously.
So I'm more on board with hiring Jobby now, more because
Sure.
of the timing. Look, for me, they've been 1A and 1B.
Yes.
Uh, so I'd be
Both
happy
great
with
picks.
both. The thing with Nagelsmann that concerns me though is it's a World Cup summer.
Yes.
So there'd be that delay. Also, too, and we'll talk a little bit about the World Cup at some point, not tonight. This is a cool World Cup. Well, other than the fact that it's in the fucking United States.
Right.
Which, yeah. Uh, so much that there isn't a bona fide, for the first time in a long time, there really isn't a bona fide favorite.
Yeah.
Germany probably is at least going to go to the quarterfinals,
Sure.
which means your manager will not show up until like mid-July.
Hmm.
What if they freaking win? Season starts in August. Like
Yeah.
the timetable there,
Yeah.
not great. So I think, in the same boat with you. If we have to do an interim, I don't think it's horrible.
Right.
You look at United, like Stevie isn't a great manager.
Yeah.
He's better than Michael Carrick. Uh,
Yeah.
and just the vibes alone, they're writing that. Uh, but I want a more long-term solution, and those would be the two on the top of my list. Brian, do you have another name or
I don't honestly. I've been reading into some other, possibilities from, people, again, speculative, who might be leaving, who's getting ousted, who's currently unemployed, and I feel like honestly with Nagelsmann, like I didn't know much about him, so that's exciting to hear.
I've
I
been
gotta,
I've been a Julian Nagelsmann truther for about the
yeah.
last 10. I also watch a lot of Bundesliga. And again, I was
Okay.
like, who is this like 24? Why is one of my students
Yeah.
managing a club? And like, why is he playing the most innovative like football
Yeah.
in the league?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, the only other names that I have, I mean, I've heard a lot of Luis Enrique stuff.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not happening. Because what he did at PSG, he's either going to get a contract for life. And if
Yeah.
you have a contract for life, at a club that's owned by an oil state where
Yeah.
you don't have to go to. Can you imagine Enrique going to the board and being like, I want these players and
Yeah.
haggling with them?
Yeah. Yeah.
TSG, you say, I want these players, and they're like, sure. Uh, if he leaves, the only job he's going to go to is Real Madrid. And
Fair.
before
Yeah.
anybody says, oh, Barcelona, he's not Pep. He's not
Yeah.
Catalonian. And so there's not that, like, Enrique managed Spain.
Yeah.
Pep would never manage Spain
Spain,
because
right.
his relationship with the concept of Spain is radically different. Uh,
Yes.
so you can cross Luis Enrique off the list. The other three names, but for me, it's Xavi, it's Nagelsmann, and then there's uh,
A big gap.
Glasner,
Yes, from
who's an all right
Palace, right?
manager. He's done good work
Yeah, he's impressive.
at Palace, but with him there, or I'm gonna quote Donald Rumsfeld, there are more unknowns than knowns.
Yeah.
Ditto the guy at Bournemouth,
Hmm.
who has a connection with Richard Hughes, Areola, but
Okay.
again, I'm not certain. Maybe Bournemouth is sort of his sort of level.
Yeah.
The other name, and he'd be right up there with Nagelsmann and Xabi if he wasn't him. Uh Roberto De Zerbi.
Okay.
From a tactical perspective, De Zerbi's great. He's just a prick. And like getting rid of the current manager kind of because he's sort of a prick.
Yeah.
Why bring in a bona fide genuine? And I've known De Zerbi's been a problem for a long time because I follow the Ukrainian league. He was the Shakhtar manager
Okay. I was
at a
gonna say,
point.
he's another name I'm
He
not
was,
too familiar
yeah,
with.
so he played really attractive football, but like he got fired like mysteriously, and it was
Hmm.
because pretty much everyone at the club couldn't stand the man. And it was a similar thing when he was at Brighton. Like they played very attractive football,
Yeah.
but no one actually liked De
Sure,
Zerbi. Like
sure.
he's actually just an asshole. So like I don't
But
like
he
I
could
could.
be our asshole. That's the thing. Yeah.
Well, but he's also seems to be an asshole with a short shelf life. Like if Roman
Yeah.
Abramovich still owned Chelsea, he'd be his guy. It's like, give me 2 years of wonderment, and then I'm gonna leave, and everything's gonna be on fire. He's like an Italian Moreno. Uh, but he plays more attractive football.
That's
But
good. That's good.
like, I would take him, but he would be the in case of emergency break glass cat
Gotcha. Last resort.
because I couldn't see him being there for more than 2 seasons,
Yeah.
which is kind of just what we have now.
Exactly. It's not really
So,
building.
before I get you out of here, two last things, and these are gonna, I guess, kind of be brief. The first is this is January. Transfer window shuts in 72 hours.
Yeah.
I kind of assumed we were going to sign a center back. I had given up
Right.
on Gahey even before the January window because
Sure, sure.
it was like City are after him, and then when City's not even great center back
Yeah.
rotation got gutted by injuries, I was just like, oh, they're just gonna give him the money because
Yeah.
it wasn't good before, and it's not going to be good when you're relying upon a 20-year-old Uzbek kid, who I think is
Correct.
going to be really good, but he's a 20-year-old fucking Uzbek kid.
Right, right.
Uh, he did make one signing of note. We did sign a center back. His name is Ifani Nudweke, and he's a 17-year-old from Austria, Vienna.
Yes.
I will hold my hands up. I do not watch the other Bundesliga.
Fair.
So
He's
I've
coming in
never,
summer, I believe, right?
he
He's
is
turns
coming
18
in
in
the
March or
summer, so
something.
he's not even coming immediatamente.
Right.
The profile looks great. He's 6'6", which
Yeah.
that's no joke. And
Yeah.
from what I've been told from my people who actually do watch the Austrian Bundesliga, there's a lot of things to like about him. The
That's
thing
good. That's
is, he's 17 and he doesn't help us now.
yeah.
Brian, do you think we sign anyone in the next couple of days, or
I
because
feel at this point in the window, you hear at least rumors of something. You hear names being mentioned. It's with Guehi not being an option, having gone to City. I don't know what names they're talking about because I'm not seeing any. I'm not hopeful.
I I think so. If they were going to keep Slot, I think
Hmm.
we would bring in again. I invoked Ozan Kabak
Yeah,
earlier in the pod. We
yeah,
probably would have brought in someone like that.
sure.
I think I think the lack of January meaningful January signings, if I'm reading the tea leaves correctly,
Yeah,
the board knows they're getting rid of this manager.
yeah,
So why buy players for a guy who's not going to be here in
correct.
about 4 months?
Yeah,
And while that sucks because we're at a spot right now where our starting center back partnership is probably Virgil van Dijk,
yeah.
an out of position Endo or Gravenberch. Although I think is Kanate going to be back this weekend? I mean, he's
I
missed.
believe so. His
Okay,
father passed away, right? I think
yeah,
he's
his pops passed away
yeah,
last.
yeah,
So at least those he'll be back. But like relying
yeah.
upon Joe Gomez, and you've been in the Philadelphia area long enough, so you will automatically get this. Relying upon Gomez to stay healthy is like relying upon SEPTA, right? Or if
Yeah.
we're going to make a literary reference, that's waiting for Godot. Like,
Especially with this weather,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and like again, it sucks that Leone broke himself.
Right, right.
Even then, he's a kid. Like he's a really
Yeah,
talented kid, but he's not the guy now.
yeah.
So I think the lack of January signings have been telling. And I like you, I'd be shocked if we bring somebody in.
Right. That's not just an impulse buy.
No, exactly. An impulse guy is, well, we're keeping this manager and we're going to try to like salvage the season.
Right, right, right.
I think they've moved past that.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to address before we get out of here is considering all the things we've said,
Yeah,
what the hell would constitute a success this season? Because we came into this season with all of these expectations.
correct.
Most of those expectations are shattered.
Yeah.
What for you would constitute at this juncture something that would be at least at the end of the season we could say, okay, this wasn't a total wash. We can
Yeah.
build upon this. So what's your criteria for that? What would
I feel, I mean, I feel like bottom line is we got to make top four, especially if we're in a position trying to attract a manager, for European football. Not Europa, not next season if, we do well. I think to contend with some of the best talent managerially out there. Um, I mean, anything higher than that is just statistically not just I don't think possible. But I feel like if we end up in a fifth spot or sixth, seventh, even bottom half of the top 10, that's gonna hurt.
so I gave some long thought to this because actually this has been an incredibly calm podcast for both of us.
Yeah.
Because no, in like November and December, I think I certainly probably would have come across as a little angrier. But
Yeah.
there's nothing to get angry at this point.
Yeah.
I have moved beyond the anger stages of all of this and entered not really the depression stages because it isn't like it isn't like Brendan when like you knew he was going to be safe and heading into that first part of that season where he ultimately did get fired for no
Yes.
particular reason. Like that was depression because it was like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this again?
Yes.
Uh, there's at least an end game here. I see light at the end of this tunnel. Uh, but in some ways, that's sort of worse when you've entered this like acceptance stage because when you were angry, you were expecting something.
Correct.
I've, I've, I'm not expecting this from.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I will say is this: if we fire Slot, and let's say we hire Alonso, but if we keep Slot or if we get an interim, this would be different. I would throw out their identity
Yeah.
as something as a partial success because I think that's part of the problem here. We,
Yeah.
as a team, we lack an identity, and
Fair.
that's disturbing. Uh Top four for me is that has to be what we
Yeah.
shoot for. Uh, it's really hard to win a domestic league when you're playing on Thursdays. We saw that in 2023, 2024
Hmm.
clubs last season. The Europa League, I think, actually screwed us in terms of the league itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
League performance.
that Thursday schedule, and then you have to play on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a lot of squad rotation.
Yep.
Uh, so, competing on all fronts, that could present a problem. Getting Champions League football, being able to attract a big name manager, and dare I say also being able to attract some of these guys that we need to flesh out the squad. Because
Yes.
we're broken records. We're still deficient at center back. I still think, and if we let the bald man leave, and let's say we get Javi,
Yeah.
true hybrid defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
He's a real defensive midfielder.
Right. Right.
His midfield two is, deep lying playmaker and a guy who's effectively the first center back guarding that back three. You need a
Right.
Robin Andrich kind of defensive midfielder. Uh, and Europa League football won't be able to get you a guy like an Adam Wharton or a Baleba. Because why would they want to leave a club where they already have Europa League football?
Correct. Yeah.
We are still alive, incredibly enough, in the FA Cup and the Champions League. If I was a betting man, I would say we're probably going to be exiting those tournaments sooner rather than later. The
Yeah.
one thing I will say, and it's only because I've been rooting for this team as long as I have seen us do new and wondrous things in Europe when we have been abject garbage
Yeah.
in the league. And even better would be if we bring in, let's say, a Jobby. By the end of the season, we have a clearer identity. We know what this team is and what
Yep.
the vision of it is going to
What
be.
we're capable of, and
We
and
have,
not just being a fluke, you know.
yeah, we finished top four, and he can somehow do one of those things where we wind up even in a final.
Yeah.
That would be that would be very encouraging going into the summer.
Absolutely.
But for me, if it's bare minimum top four.
Yeah.
So this was a lot of fun.
This
This
was great.
entirely too long to get you on this goddamn thing.
Well, I'm glad
Trying
it finally
like
happened.
the last like year or so, I'm like, I should get Brian on to do the Liverpool report because it's like me just ranting, which some people might like that, but it's good to have other voices in the room. And speaking of that, me and Brian are going to try in the next month or so before the Eastern European leagues emerge out of their long winter hibernation and the World Cup qualifying playoffs, which is
Oh
pop
yeah.
chock full of kibasi and paprika, etc. Uh, we're going to get on and do an Eastern Europe report, and I was thinking about the next Liverpool. Next time we sit down and talk about Liverpool, maybe once we get to like the round of 16 in the Champions League, or sometime maybe in like late March.
Yeah. That lines up well too. I know there's some good World Cup playoffs right around then too, that final week.
So for Professor Matt and for our new member of the family, Brian Poborski. This is the Too Many Guys Sports Network signing off.